representing Anna Dibenedetto, who family born and raised here in the North End. Still has many family members here. Anna owned 47 Charter Street for well over 20 years now, and we're doing some remodeling. What we're doing is seeking relief for one simple violation, which is an FAR floor area ratio on the first floor apartment. What we like to do is extend the first floor apartment into the basement to make that a 2-bedroom residential unit to approximately 993 square feet. Currently, it's the 47 Charter Street is the corner building of Charter Street and Foster Street. And it's a small lot. It's about 650 square foot lot. It has 4 residential units, 4 1-bedrooms. The building's probably about 43 feet in height, and all the units are within the 500 feet living space, square foot living space. What we're doing is just doing the first floor only, not changing the occupancy of the building, just extending the living space into the basement. And what we have to do, some structural work. There's going to be no digging. We have enough space between the floor of the first floor and the ceiling of the basement, and we're going to add over about, I think, maybe 16 to 18 inches of space we have to raise the ceiling in the basement, so we have enough ceiling height to meet the building requirements. But no other adjustments are needed for the other floors because there is that space already available. Currently on the first floor, there'll be some changes. So right now, the first floor is a 1-bedroom. There'll be a 2-bedroom. The 2 bedrooms will be on the first floor level. And then what we'll have is the kitchen and living area in the basement unit. There will be new windows. Right now, you see just a door that's on Foster Street. That door will be removed. There'll be at least 4 new windows on Foster Street. There'll be a new window on Charter Street. Main entrance still going to be Charter Street, 47 Charter Street. You enter the main entrance and you can enter the first floor residential unit into the new unit. And that's really the only change. So I'll answer any questions. We have a hearing date of May 5th at the ZBA.
Okay, great. First, any abutters in the room that wish to identify themselves? If there are any questions from those abutters, they go first. Otherwise, we're open to questions from anyone else.
I was going to say, we met, no one appeared at the abutters meeting. However, prior to the abutters meeting, there's a family across the street, the Francesca family. We have their full support, the Francesca's family that's owned that property directly across the street on Charter Street for many years. That's the only one that's reached out.
Thank you.
Hi, Dan. What's the basement used for right now? And my concern is, I know that there is a utility room there.
Right.
But are you taking away space that is being used
No,
for trash?
no, there's still the trash. There's no trash that goes down into the basement. I mean,
What else is the basement used
the
for?
basement is used for utilities, and I don't want to say storage. I mean, if there's storage out there,
It
it's
was a storage area
Right.
before, and now we've moved all that into like a storage unit, so it's empty right now, and the utility room that's on the first floor is gonna be moved into the basement. So we're not taking any space away from anyone.
Okay, I think I.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, but actually this started to ring a bell. Was there an application before us a few years ago for this building?
I'm not aware of one. I don't know if
It was probably a building in the area then.
Maybe we were remodeling the 3rd, the 4th floor,
Okay.
maybe something up there.
That's
but
fine, thank you.
that's it.
dressed up in the meeting.
Just
There's no request to change the number of units.
There's no request. It's a 4 residential unit. It's going to remain as a 4-family dwelling. It's just extending the living space to a bigger unit. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned that the additional square footage for downstairs is 491 square feet, 501 upstairs, so over 900 square feet, which makes a nice size 2-bedroom. And according to Anthony Pisani, who sits on the ZBA, he likes to see a 2-bedroom unit at about 900, so we meet that requirement.
Oh, Mary.
Is it time for comments, or?
Yeah, if there are no more questions, we'll go into the comments where people can speak their minds, as you are very good at.
I just think that we have to give more thought to cause and effect. This is yet another non-owner occupied building which is looking to increase the space. I don't know how you can say that this kind of increase does not increase the occupancy. It makes it much bigger, and who is renting these places but transients? It's driving up the rents in the neighborhood. It is destabilizing the neighborhood. We very seldom, and tonight is the exception, have somebody who is actually an owner who wants to come in and make this kind of change. Usually, owner-occupied buildings are not doing this, or if they're doing it, it's some very minor thing to increase the living space that they need for their family. That is not what this is about. We are routinely asked to fill in a basement, add a story, and again, it is not for the good of the residents of the neighborhood. Filling in a basement. If anybody in this room can point me to a garbage can in this neighborhood right now that is not filled with residential garbage, I'd like to know about it. You can't place a garbage can in this neighborhood. Nobody wants it in front of their house. Why not? Because it's going to be filled up with residential garbage. And here again, we're filling in a basement. We're being told, no, we don't keep our garbage. Where do the people keep their garbage? They keep it in the parks, they keep it out on the street, they put it in front of someone else's house. We've got some problems here. And we really have to stop doing this. As a matter of policy, we should not keep approving these variances for non-owner-occupied buildings. It is not doing anything for this community.
Is there, yeah, and I do want to, one question I want to add to that is there a plan for trash storage? Please.
There is not a plan for trash storage. As usual, in the North End community, we have trash pickup twice a week, and most residents leave the trash in their home, and then they bring it out. It's not, and to address Mary's questions or comments, it's not an owner-occupied building. However, there is family that's been living there for many years. She's owned the building for over 20 years, and there's family members that are in there currently, family members that are going to remain. What I've seen, and knowing the area, what we've seen on Foster, I'll say Foster Street, what we're doing is fixing up a unit or a building that hasn't had any remodeling in a lot of years. We're bringing it up to date. We're going to be required to sprinkle the building to make it safe. We're going to bring it up to date. It's going to be a nice residential unit. That side of Fourth Street, as you're going down, what you saw over the last few years is the building right next to Anna's building has been remodeled to a single family. And it's very nice, it's beautiful. The next building over it was bought by the Martinetti family, and Delarusso Construction is doing the work on it. And they're doing a very nice job, and it looks very nice. The building after that, I believe a non-owner occupied would be the Rhino Group. They're doing work on that particular building. So that side of the street, they're doing a lot of work in those buildings, and they're making the street look very nice, lighting it up, and very attractive rather than a dull, unattractive building. The buildings on the right side of the street probably need some work. So I think the improvements that Anna and her husband, Jose, who owns Toronto Restaurant, does an excellent job in there, owns the restaurant for many years. They're doing it, and it is going to benefit the neighborhood. So I just leave it at that.
David.
Dave Kubiak, Cleveland Place. I think that Victor should probably review at every meeting during his ELC presentation the criteria for the Zoning Board of Appeal approving a variance. And we need to be reminded of that over and over again. They're seeking a variance in this case, and I don't want to point the finger just at this application. We've had many applications before us over the last several years to turn basement space into residential space. And the reason a variance is needed is because the zoning code calls this a violation. Using a basement for residential space is a violation of the zoning code. By the Board of Appeal approving all of these basement units or basement expansions, and by this group supporting those, and in most cases we have voted to support these, we are essentially rezoning the neighborhood by variance. A variance is supposed to be approved when the owner cannot otherwise gain full economic value of the building. There's nothing preventing full economic value of this building in its current use. And this goes for all these other variance applications. This is simply so the owner can make more money off of the building. And we are rezoning the neighborhood by variances, parcel by parcel. And I hope that the executive committee considers changing these ballots from support to no objection. Under the Board of Appeal zoning regulations, we are to consider the community impacts. And if there's no community impact, we should be saying no objection. Now, if there's some outstanding benefit to the community, like this building's going to be turned into affordable housing maybe, or something like that, maybe then in those cases we could support it. But generally speaking, we should not be supporting alcohol licenses or zoning variances. We can, though, very reasonably say that we have no objection because it does not cause an adverse impact to the community.
Stay tuned on that one, because that's a suggestion that actually most neighborhood associations follow. So, but for the purposes of this discussion and the vote that comes up, support is essentially us not objecting. It's essentially the equivalency, although I take your point about the spin. Anyway, thank you. Do you want to?
No, in closing, we respectfully seek your support to increase the building, the basement to 491 square feet to extend the living space. We're fixing up the building, making it look nice, fix up the unit that's in desperate need of renovations, and I think once it's fixed up, you get a better quality tenant that's going to be there, and what we're looking for is a long-term tenant that's going to take care of the property. And Anna has been, although she doesn't live in the neighborhood now, she spends the majority of her time, her family grew up here with brothers and sisters, and family's still in the building, so I ask you for your support. Thank you.
Thanks. So I am looking for a motion to vote on number 2.
I'll make a motion. I will.
Okay. Second. So we will use ballot number 2 with a little chicklets on it, and support is no objection and opposed